I just want to say before we start, Bex wanted me to sit on the bale and I refused to because I look like a pixie sat on the bale. So I'm going to lean on the bale in casual style. Right, so today, red clover. Right, well, I'm embarrassed to say that Ellen asked me to do a short piece on red clover. So I actually had to do some research. So I couldn't just grasp into my brain and get the information out. So I suppose a lot of conversations are going on about species that we can use that are drought resistant. So I suppose during my career in the seed trade, we go in this cycle where every time I have a drought, we all go, oh, what we're going to grow to combat drought conditions. And then once we have some sort of normal weather, we then forget about it. So I suppose the two things to talk today about are red clover, which actually red clover is really deep rooted. It has what's called tap root and actually really likes dry and hot weather. It's a good source of protein and it's a good alternative to some of the other forage legumes. I think the bigger issue is we've got to start to change our attitude towards cropping generally. There's always a danger that we come up with one-off species. So we've seen this with lucerne, which is another forage legume. Every time we have a dry year, sales peak the next year, then we get a wet year and sales fall away. My personal view is we need to take a bit of a step back. We need to look at what we're doing. I think the information we're getting is that these dry summers are probably here to stay. So I suppose from a legume point of view, red clover is really good, but we can't just grow red clover. And I think that's where we need to be a bit more sophisticated, is to try and have a look at mixtures that contain more species. So for example, tall fescue, there's a lot of conversations at the moment about tall fescue being used both in forage and amenity situations, because again, it is more tolerant to drought. It won't survive with no water, but it will survive with less. So I think from my point of view, what we need to be doing as ATR, so what we're doing about it, we're having a really hard look at the species available, both from academic papers, from our own experience, and trying to put forward solutions. So for us, it's all coming up with ideas. It's no good just rambling on that red clover is amazing and recovers and cover the whole country in red clover, and then we've just got one species again. So that's the task. So I think the message from this video really is that we're putting a lot of work in behind the scenes on what we can grow, how we can grow it, where it's fit for purpose. I know with tall fescue, there's been a lot of conversation about amenity types being what they call endophytic active, which is an issue for forage production. So we need to be quite careful that we actually really understand what we're doing, use the appropriate species in the right situation. So conclusion is we're working quite hard behind the scenes on looking across all the species. Where can we source them? Where do they fit into rotations? How can we change it and be more tolerant to dry conditions? We're stood here again in the field, massive cracks in the ground. It's cooler today, but it's very dry with no rain forecast. So this is the start of a whole journey, I think, on to changing attitudes towards species and cropping, of which tall fescue and red clover will be one of those. So talk to us. We haven't got all the answers today, but we're working on them, gathering together information that's freely available, but also applying our own experience and knowledge.